Hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today at the Engineering and Operations Management Lunch and Learn webinar series. We're glad you could be with us today. We're going to be talking about a lot of our programs and how they all kind of intertwine with each other, but we are housed at the U of A in the College of Engineering in the Industrial Engineering Department. We offer 3 Master of Science online programs in Operations Management, Engineering Management, and Engineering. We also have graduate certificates in project management, Lean Six Sigma, Homeland Security, Operations Management, and also Engineering Management. We also offer MicroCertificates, which is the topic for today, so we'll get to that very shortly. I want to welcome everyone. My name is Karen Hickenbotham. I'm Marketing and Communications for the 2 programs in Master in Science and Operations Management and Engineering Management. We ask that you save all the questions until the end, and we will be utilizing the chat box for those, that Q&A session. We also want to let you know this webinar is being recorded and will be posted on ScholarWorks at UARC in our Operations Management collection of presentations. So I want to again thank everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Today, our presentation is Certificates as Degree Components and How to Use Stacking to Strategically Upskill. Our presenter today is Dr. Rich Ham. He's the Associate Director in the MS in Operations Management and the MS in Engineering Management programs. So I am going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Ham. Dr. Ham, thank you for being with us today, and we're excited for the presentation.
Thank you, Karen. I would like to express, as we begin this discussion, that I don't have, and I don't think we're going to have anybody in this day and age that's going to have all the answers for you, but I think we've got the questions and where you need to decide and how you can develop a strategy that fits for you. So today we're going to talk about really what stacking is and get an idea of what the strategy is for stacking, why you need to, and then how do you decide? It's going to take a little time to set us up with some context and things that have changed pretty dramatically in the last decade, especially. It's been building for maybe 2 decades, but in the last 10 years, we've seen some dramatic changes in how workforces develop and the kind of strategies you need to upskill. Here's kind of the simple math. We like math in our programs. We have a lot of quantitative programs, but it's really pretty simple. Stacking is just using intermediate microcertificates, certificates, or degrees to reach a long-term goal. So we have these intermediate credentials, if you will, that you can get. You don't have to wait 2-3 years until you finish the program, but you actually can have a recognized credential that shows that you've reached an intermediate step that qualifies you for other positions or other type of work. The simple math, though, is just really this. You can, if you look and spend some time, look in our program, where you can take 2 microcertificates that only require 2 courses, add them together to a graduate certificate, take 2 of those that added up to a graduate certificate, and end up with enough to add 2 courses and get the master's degree. There are, we couldn't even count the number of paths in different ways. So I'm going to give you a couple of notional paths that kind of stand out right off the bat, but you can look at these and see pretty quickly some things that you could get that would allow you to stack them for skills that you need and have the ability to have additional credentials. Like I said, why you need to stack. Immediately you can prove the skill. In 2 8-week sessions, you can get a microcertificate. It appears on your transcript. You actually get credit. It's not just a recognition that you did it. It's actually on your transcript and can be used to present. The thing I think that we hear and we know, and what the current benchmarking and marketing trends show us, is that students can either go deep or wide with certificates. If you're looking for a very broad and micro certificates, you want to add some broad areas and then have a credential that goes with it, then you can you look at several areas and look at a very broad application, or you can go deep. You can get more, you can get deeper in the certificate area, take additional courses that will give you even a deeper technical understanding of that area. Can augment your degree focus. Some people come, and even if they didn't know about a microcertificate or certificate, they knew what they wanted to get out of the degree. Both OM and EM have very wide areas and information, so that you could say, hey, I want to look at OM, and I'm really interested in HR. In EM, I'm really interested in the R&D, or there's things about leading change at EM that I think is important, so I look at that microcertificate. People have students have been intuitively, strategically planning for some time to make themselves more competitive, but now these allow for you to have an actual credential that matches your strategic plan. Often microcertificates and the graduate certificates, in fact, all of them that we have are actually associated with a body of knowledge. It's not a prep course or a boot camp, but it does give you the information. We have many students that take the certificate or a microcertificate and then go on and add a little bit of study in themselves, and they're able to actually get the professional certification as well. So we purposely align those because employers have said and students have said, as we marketed and surveyed and benchmarked, that that's important to be aligned with a professional body. And we even choose specific professional bodies if there's more than one, based on the advantages that they have and how widely accepted that they are. So how do you decide which one that you need? One is changing jobs. People look around and they decide, I really want to look at another line of business. And so I already have a master's degree, or I'm not ready to start a master's, but I do want to upskill with a microcertificate or a certificate so I can move into another line. See this a lot. People will move around within OM. Maybe they were in HR, they want to go into supply chain, or vice versa, or they go into different parts, and they will upskill so they get a new skill set that helps them. Some are looking to just get deeper knowledge and a promotion in the same line of business, and this helps there also. We see students, and as we do exit interviews at the end of the program, talking about how the skills and the credential led to a promotion or their ability to get a position because they were trying to make a change somewhere. It will be useful to improve technical leadership. Sometimes you look specifically and you need to understand some more about either the group that you're supervising as it grows, or you're trying to understand what kind of new skills, equipment, etc., is needed for one of the lines of business that you lead. And so getting some of that information, certainly, or getting some of those skills will help a leader. And some of it's just maintaining currency. If you look at how quickly things are changing, we do have some students that say, I really understood everything about supply chain, but, the new autonomous systems, I don't understand anything. So I want to try to understand how that works. Or I have, been leading individuals in a certain area for some time, but I really don't understand what's going on with the lean like I need to. So I need to learn Lean Six Sigma. Or I'm managing projects and I really want to be up to date with what the most current body of knowledge is on that. Those things about maintaining currency are also a good reason to take certificates and micro certificates. So when we talk about, and the reason that I use this, I think it's really important because it gives us one important graphic, and I'll go through these in a moment. But if you look, you can see the pyramid. It pretty much represents, you can get intermediate micro certificates and certificates, upskill in an area, take your micro certificates to a certificate to a master's degree, and do that flexibly in your own time. That's really the main process. So a lot of students that we have, they'll say, look, the promotion, I know there's going to be a promotion because so-and-so is going to retire and I'm going to compete for it. He or she's going to be gone in 6 months. I don't have enough time to finish a master's degree, but I could do this MicroCertificate or this certificate that would give me a credential and help me be, more competitive for that specific system. So context is important as well. So I want to talk a little bit about, as you try to make decisions, how EM and OM work. And first off, I'll have to say that for faculty or students out there, if I ran my presentation today through Turnitin, I'd probably have a 70% match. I've taken quite a bit of the work that Dr. Parnell and Kirk Michelson and Kerry Beam and Rocky Gay did on this. But I think it's important to spend just a little bit of time talking about the context of the difference in the two, but also how they cross. And I want to talk to you a little bit about my personal experience and why I think it's really important to understand these and how you can use them. This is a great slide, but it's a little busy. But it's a great slide to show something really important, and that is this. The degrees that we have in the two programs, OM and EM, you can see that we have those that are, basically OM courses, and then we have EM courses, and then we have some that really fit both. That intersection sometimes is where we find a lot of individuals looking another way. For instance, you're an engineer, and maybe you even are considering that you're going to do a MSEM degree, but one day someone tells you you're going to be in charge of operations now. That graduate certificate in operations management is a great addition to understand some of those principles. And this is really what it comes down to, kind of the difference in those two. And I think this is Dr. Parnell's, but it gives you a good example of how the differences, but the things that are also the same. So let me, as an example, I have a STEM degree undergraduate. It's not an ABET, not an engineering degree, but I led large teams of engineers, computer scientists, and others in those areas. Now, this wasn't available for me, many years ago. So I had to kind of learn how to lead those technical groups and how to motivate them really from mentors. But this would have been a perfect fit for me because I could have taken an EM a graduate certificate, and I could have used those to apply for several of those positions that I had. So this allows you to both be deeper, but also if you change, EMs that are engineering managers and operations managers are going to cross back and forth and have all different lines of business working for them. And so understanding each of those is really important to effectively lead them. So now we kind of understand the context. And again, I've used this one from a previous presentation that Dr. Parnell had done. But you look at the certificates in EM and then in OM, and I'm gonna give you a notional idea of a concept of how you can look at it and how you can stack some of these. But these lines of business, really, this kind of tells you where everybody fits, and it helps to understand why you should upskill. One of the things that's really important to understand is for in the last 15 to 20 years, what's dramatically changed then for some of us that are more, I would say, reached an age where we would think of everything nostalgic in a nostalgic way. We look at these things from years ago, and you knew when you started. Most people stayed with a company for many years, and they kind of knew even early on in 4 to 5 years, I should look at mid-level management. And about that time, I'll think about a master's degree. And then down the road, maybe another advanced certificate. And they had this all lined out for them because they could look what there was in that company. Now we know that, the average worker in their 30s to 40s will have changed companies anywhere from 9 to 11 times over the course of a 40-year work career. So that means every time you change, there's a very good possibility that trajectory changes and the company may have a different focus. And so as you begin to look at, I moved to another company. Now I need to rethink what are the skills I need, and I need those quickly. I can't do a master's degree every time that I move, but I can do a certificate that will get me grounded and something will get me on the way, a MicroCertificate or a full certificate, so I can move into that area. So we've got graduate certificates of 4 courses and MicroCertificates of 2 courses for OM. And this really shows you how you can stack it. Just like the earlier simple math we talked about, you can take 2 course MicroCertificates, stack them into a 4 course, and then take electives and finish a degree. And the same thing with our certificates and MicroCertificates in EM. You can stack them the same way. You can stack them to be deeper so that you need the skills in that discipline, or you can gain some experience in other areas and be able to stack them as well. So I want to walk you through quickly. I won't say the simple one, but I'll talk about just how you can kind of plan. And advisors help our students to do this, but as an example, here's one quick example. In our leading change, the bottom right corner, leading change MicroCertificate, you can take 2 courses in leading change and take those and apply them into the project management graduate certificate. So right off the bat, you've got a certificate or a MicroCertificate that will fold into a certificate, full certificate PM, and allow you to earn both of those with 4 courses towards the way, eventually towards a master's degree. And then you can also look and see the courses that apply, say, in Lean Six Sigma, and see that you could apply some of the courses out of that and be able to take a couple of electives and use PM in that certificate. And with choosing your electives correctly, you could get that certificate with just a couple of your certificates. You can look at the advanced air mobility for autonomous operations, the 2-course MicroCertificate. You can take those and you can apply those into the Homeland Security graduate certificate and then apply part of that or all of those up into the Master of Science in Operations Management. That's only 2 quick examples of how you could do that. But there are, I started trying to count different ways, and I am positive students and advisors will look and come up with even more innovation. I think there's combinations that we haven't even thought about that students will see, but it'll be matched to your specific needs, where it is you need to upskill, and what it is that you think is going to make you competitive and also make you better at your job. So here in about 20 minutes, this is what we went through, but I want to kind of summarize the way that you stack and what's important. First off, it's not a one-size-fits-all. You should pick stacking not for the sake of stacking, but because it's going to make you competitive, help you change skills, up skills, maintain currency, move to a new area, or make you more competitive for promotion. You can stack the MicroCertificates to a graduate certificate and then that into a degree. You can stack 2 MicroCertificates in some cases into 1 graduate certificate, or 2 into one graduate certificate that then you can use most of for another graduate certificate, all of which would apply to your degree. It's really about nimble upskilling for nimble markets. Things are changing so rapidly. Things are updating. If you think about the pandemic and the skills that have changed, not just remote working, but supply chain has dramatically changed. Leading change has dramatically changed how you lead people and what they understand. So if 2 or 3 years to get your master's degree was an option only, I think that's people like that. But things are so nimble, you quickly have to make these skill set upgrades in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, not 3 years on your way to the ultimate goal for a degree down the road. And then also it allows you to go both deep and wide. And students have different needs when they their career path that they've chosen. They'll want to become deeper, more technically adept, or they might want to get a wide view because they're on their way to having many different lines of business in their portfolio, and so they want to make sure that they understand enough of that to lead a larger organization. So that would be, I would say the Reader's Digest, but not exactly that quick. But it is at least gives you an idea of what the skills that you can make. And those that are interested, not only for questions that we'd have today, but advisors can help walk through that process. We have some students that have come up with really innovative ideas. We've had some students that have gotten all three could be four, but they have gotten 3 graduate certificates and also a MicroCertificate, and done it within the confines of 10 courses. We've had some that'll make a decision, hey, it's worth it to me to take one extra course and be able to get 2 or 3 of these certificates. But you have to be strategic from the beginning and know what it is that you're trying to, where it is you're headed, so that you can make that plan up front. And advisors are very good at that. All right, Carla, and that's all that I've got for the actual presentation piece, but certainly we entertain questions.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Ham. So want to thank everybody again for joining us today. Everyone is welcome to ask questions. Advisors, I know there's a few instructors online too, so anybody jump in to have any questions for Dr. Ham, or if there's students on that have a question for an advisor. While we kind of formulate those questions, I just want to kind of sum up what we've kind of touched on today. But often people say, why the master's in operations management or engineering management? And our motto is learn it today, use it tomorrow. Many of our students, in fact, almost probably all of them actually, that provide testimonials or we talk to during their comp exam, which is their exit interview out of the program once they've completed all their coursework, say that there's too many examples to count of how they've learned something in class and then the very next day be able to go into work and apply it to their personal or professional jobs even. The programs are 100% online, so you can complete those without having to come to campus. This is a no thesis program. I just mentioned the comp exam. There is a short presentation at the end to kind of give us an idea of what you've learned in the program, and then you get to have an exit interview with one of the directors. You can learn from professors with current and relevant expertise. The degree plan is very flexible, only 10 graduate courses, and like we've said today, you can earn a certificate or MicroCertificate concurrently without taking any of those extra courses. We do not have any, there's no out-of-state tuition, so the total for a 3-hour class can vary a little bit depending on if you do take it on campus. There are some classes that are offered on campus, but that would be the total cost for one. The admission requirements are pretty simple. For the OM degree, you can have any bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. For both programs, there's no GRE above a 2.5. For the EM, though, you do have to have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering that is ABET accredited, and anything above a 2.5 would be a conditional admission on a case-by-case basis. So again, thank you for attending. We'll go ahead and take some questions now. Just want to let everyone know that we do take a hiatus for summer with the webinars, but we'll be offering some summer info sessions, again, covering these certificates. So if you have anybody who you know that may be interested, let them know to look for our info session. They can also send us an email if they're interested. There's our email addresses for the operations management and the engineering management programs. Check out our websites listed there on the screen. I'll go ahead and keep this up since there's a lot of information, and we can take a question from, it looks like Garland Woods. Thanks for joining us today, Garland. He asked, Dr. Ham, can we take these certificates one at a time or a combination of any number we feel we can handle while working full time? That's a great question, and we get that question a lot. So, Dr. Ham, what would you say to Garland?
Sure, Garland, you can take the certificates in a combination as you can handle them, and any way that you'd like to do them in whatever order. I will say this though, and this is one of the things why we always say, hey, it's good to talk to an advisor. We have some of our courses that are just heavier material, especially if it's been a while since you've done quantitative work. And there would be some that, the advisor would say, if you're going to take that class, I'd only take this one class at a time. That would be our recommendation. So, we will give you advice, the best advice that we can, so that you can, make those decisions that make sense. Most of these more technical ones, anything more than one class, an 8-week session, because remember, the sessions are already accelerated. You do as much work in 8 weeks as a typical course does in an entire semester. So you're doubled up already. So if you take 2 and it's some really heavy ones, then you could find yourself, especially working full time, making it pretty tough. I worked full time while I was working on graduate programs, so I definitely get that. But glad to talk to you, and I know that the advisors would, give you the straight scoop on advice and how other students have been able to handle more than one at a time.
Great, thank you for that. Carol, our assistant director, is online. That's a great point, Carol. We get a lot of questions as far as kind of, when you're earning milestones along the way, and sometimes that certificate or diploma in hand really kind of solidifies, your accomplishments and your success, and something tangible that you can see that, okay, I'm working towards something, or I've already accomplished this. And so they do actually, because it is a standalone program, technically you would apply separately for this as well as apply to graduate separately. So you do receive a diploma for that certificate completion. So we have Garland also wants to chime in and say, are any of these courses in common with MS and engineering degree?
Yes. So several of them. In fact, the project management certificate, Lean Six Sigma, the MicroCertificate in leading change. We've had some others in EM that have done the Homeland Security. So these certificates have the ability for you to move around across. Now you have to watch that and be strategic, because you've got degree requirements if that's what you want to do in the future, to make sure that those are all going to match. But they definitely do have a cross section. You would have students in EM that could look to do an OM graduate certificate and just plan it. Sometimes, depending on your other interest, you might have to take 11 courses instead of 10. But there's most of those that you can strategically fit in there and actually do both of them, and they'll cross.
So we have another question about the project management certificate. Is that equivalent to the PMP certification, Dr. Ham?
So Like I mentioned, we do follow the body of knowledge for all of our certificates. In the case of project management, we follow the body of knowledge from PMI and go through the exact same processes in that body of knowledge and cover those between the project management and advanced project management courses. We're not saying that we are a preparatory course for the PMP. We're not, competing with the PMP boot camps, but we have numerous students that, after learning those principles, go back and study for some additional hours and then sit for the exam and pass it. So you're going to get the skill sets, but we're not teaching the test, I guess, if that makes sense. But we are teaching all the principles that are on the test, and we have several students that are successful in getting their PMP afterwards.
Okay, so we've got someone is joining us today. Not sure of the name because it just says iPhone, but they're in Germany. And so this person is asking, are the courses at your own pace within the 8 weeks or meeting at certain times? How would you explain that to them, Dr. Ham?
So virtually every course that is here can be done in an online section. So completely asynchronously, you do it on your own course, you meet the requirements, maybe a combination of watching recorded videos, and then doing online exercises, and then participating in the activities of the course asynchronously at your pace on your time. We also have some live classes, but we also have video synchronous classes you can join from home. So let's say, you decide, I decided I want to take a class, but I'd like to have the interaction. You can join synchronously with other students from your home and do that in some of those courses as well. Not all of them, but we offer several that way. So really, it's flexible. You get to pick what works for you. Several of our instructors offer, even if it's completely asynchronous, sometimes 3, 4, and sometimes every weekly during the course, they'll offer synchronous video times where it's kind of like virtual office hours where students will join. So you're going to see, a varied response in all those. But I guess what I'd tell you is that if you want to do it all asynchronously, you can. If you want a mixture of some asynchronous and some video, you can. Either way would be available, even overseas.
Okay. So it looks like there's a couple of questions that kind of overlap. So Stephen, thanks for joining us today. I did see that you joined late. Everybody will get a recording to this. That was a lot of information, and some of those charts, it will take a minute to study. So everyone will get those, and I can even put that into PDF format for everyone and send that out too. So number one, Stephen. Secondly, is there an advising cheat sheet available showing which courses count towards which degrees, certs that overlap? Great question, and I know the advisors are very eager to know the answer to that as well. We will be working on something, and we will have that available to students. When you reach out to your advisor, let's work individually with those, and we will have something shortly that everybody will be able to navigate kind of through and see what's most beneficial to them. And then there was another, Edgar, I think, asked, sorry, is there a URL for the stackability of the certs and microcerts towards the OM degree that he just saw in the presentation? That can happen. Again, I'll be able to send out the recording today as well as a PDF so you have something tangible. We will have something on our website that we'll be working on over the summer that will kind of coexist with advising resources. So we'll get all that to everyone. If you are not a current student, the email addresses that you see on the screen there at MSOM or MSEM at UARC, several people monitor those, and so you will be able to ask questions through that, and we will try to get you connected with an advisor as soon as possible. And I'm kind of taking down notes as I'm reading through these chats, and I'm going to go ahead and connect you with who your advisor would be if you are not currently in the program. So that should help to have that one-on-one attention. So hopefully that answers your question, Edgar and Stephen both. And then one more from Garland says, how is the coursework normally delivered and received, like a Blackboard program or just through U of A's website? So Dr. Ham?
So Garland, we use Blackboard. That's the LMS. And then for the video, we have Zoom primarily, but we also have some instructors that use Teams and other tools. So, but Blackboard, the LMS, I think most people are familiar with it, is set up with all the loaded videos, the weekly assignments, and the testing process.
Great. Thanks for that information. Boy, I like this today. We got some questions. This is good. So, Michael, thanks for joining us. Dr. Hammy asks, do courses provide CEU and PDH for professional engineering licenses?
So what a great question. And I'll let some of our engineers answer, but I can tell you for a fact that we've been contacted in the past and asked locally if we would provide information that would be used for CEUs and PDHs. And then we've had students, we've not done it, but students have individually presented that and asked for it to be accepted for their CEUs. So very good question. We've had students that were successful. We've not done it as a program to organizations, but students have taken it and presented it to get their CEUs. So I'd say, it depends on the organization that you're talking about, ask them if it would work. And if it will, we're certainly, willing to write a letter or show anything that they'd like to have. Once in a while, we'll have some ask that question.
Great. Thank you for that. I know we have Dr. Parnell on. He's the director of our programs, and we've also got, I think, Dr. Rocky Gay was on as well. So if they are more than welcome to chime in, if there's any additional information you think these gentlemen would benefit from. But thank you, Michael. Thank you, Garland. Very great questions. Dr. Ham, do you have anything additional you'd like to add, or?
I don't, other than just to say there are a lot of strategies and a lot of reasons to use this strategy that's emerged for the reasons that we talked about earlier. I'd recommend anybody that's interested, spend the time talking to an advisor or talk to me, or I'm sure Dr. Parnell, that we could walk you through kind of the strategies. We have some great advisors that spend a lot of time looking at all the different options that there are. It can help you to be the most efficient, but also, what you need for career goals. That's what we love to do. So just don't hesitate to reach out, and as you're considering it, let us talk to you and find out what your needs are, and then help you build a strategy.
That's great advice. And everyone that did register will be receiving this information from me later on this afternoon. So you are more than welcome to directly reach out to me, and then I can connect you with the appropriate advisor that can help you move forward and navigate through the processes and decision making and all that. So if there are no other questions, if you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out at those email addresses, or even contact me directly. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. Hey, Garland, I went to OSU, so yeah, I'm now a hog, but it's all good. So thanks everyone, and for joining us today, and appreciate Dr. Ham's time in putting together the presentation and his time today with answering all the questions. So appreciate all the staff members, their advisors, and everybody that joined us today. So everyone have a good rest of your day.